Alrighty, here we go. And we're live! Good morning, everyone. Jamie Marco with When She Happens, one of the co-founders. And we, as you know, started this What She Said live sessions last week. We are super excited to be joined today by Heidi Schild, and we're going to be talking with her about her role, what she's doing in the world of health and nutrition. You can join us by commenting anywhere on Facebook or on our live YouTube channel, and this will obviously always stay live from there on. Good morning, Rachel. Thanks for joining us. Miss you. So we're going to get comments, Heidi, there as well, too. I'll take care of those. Essentially, what these That's What She Said sessions are for you to get to know our When She Happens members. And we are all about highlighting the members of our group and sharing with you the stories of the women of the Sun Coast who are making a difference. So enough about this. Let's just jump right on in, Heidi. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. This is really a fun way to get to see everybody, sort of.
Oh yeah, exactly. They can see you can't see them, whatever. And also, so for those that don't know, Heidi hosted an event for us a couple weeks ago. It was a live cooking class. It was super cool. And I'm pumped to talk with you more about what you do and how your life has taken a different path over the last few years. So Heidi, just go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and how you got into doing what you're doing now.
Okay, sure. So about 3.5 years ago, so I guess from a background, I'll start way back from, my youth, childhood. Growing up, I was a yo-yo dieter. I was the chronic, I followed every book that came out I would buy. French Women Don't Get Fat, and, the paleo diet. And, I was a cookbook addict. I was like hooked on Barefoot Contessa. I actually learned how to cook by watching Barefoot Contessa and reading her cookbooks. I always thought I cooked healthy as I got older. I always thought I ate very healthy. And then about 3.5 years ago, and I was always counting calories, Weight Watchers and points and the apps that MyFitnessPal. And I was always on this cycle of could never lose that stubborn weight. And especially as you age, and I won't reveal my age, but it gets harder as your 40s and 50s, and you get there and you're like, ugh. And you're like, I ran to the doctor and I said, there's something wrong with my metabolism. She was like, no, it's not your metabolism. It's your age. It's calories in, calories out. And I'm like, I didn't want to accept that. So a friend of mine back a few years ago, we used to live in Ohio, and she and I used to always talk food, and we were big foodies. And she said, do you want to do this Veganuary? It was, January 1st. You join this, it was like a website or something, and it was 30 days of vegan. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll sign up, because I already had not eaten red meat for many, many years. So I thought, how hard could it be to give up all the other things? So I signed up for the 30 days, and I was like, wow, I could do this. And so I just continued on that path and, joined a lot of Facebook groups that were plant-based and vegan, and got a lot of support that way. And it kind of led me to think, well, and I liked cooking, and I, enjoyed the whole process of preparing food. And, at that point, I was an empty nester, and, I had time. So I did an online course in nutrition and wellness coaching, and, was working with that. And then I found that a lot of people were stuck on how to cook, they were like, well, I could, do this vegan thing or this plant-based thing, but I don't know how to make the food taste good. Or they were hung up on all I eat are vegetables and hummus and pita, how much, there's more to it than that. And you can make it really taste good, and the food prep and that. And so it kind of evolved into, as far as coaching, just doing more food prep and more demonstrations. And I have a website where I do a lot of recipe development, I kind of just branched out into making some YouTube videos that demo. I did that over during the quarantine, got started on that. But I had started last year starting to do in-home cooking classes, small group.
Okay.
And then I started working before the pandemic through ACE Suncoast Technical School. They hired me as an instructor. So I was doing in-person classes for them at Suncoast through their ACE program, and the same in my house when I could still host people. And so now I'm doing them virtually. So I'm doing some Zoom classes and still continuing coaching, privately with one-on-one people, but this is sort of expanding out to reach more people. So
I love it. Thank you for that snapshot into your life. Oh, it's so incredible to hear everyone's different stories about health and nutrition. And one of the things that, I just want to mention is that, we've got a lot of different health coaches in When She Happens. And so we want to feature everybody, and it's really ultimately a personal decision of what people decide to do with their own health.
Sure.
And today I'm excited to learn from you about your journey, what that looks like. If you want to connect with Heidi, on the bottom of our screen, you can see her website as well as her email. If this is something you want to learn more about, certainly connect with her. Question for you, Heidi. We talk about veganism, that's word, or being vegan. What are some of the top 3 biggest misconceptions you think are out there when it comes to a vegan diet?
Well, the first thing, and I probably get asked this, almost daily, is where you get your protein. And, the big protein myth. And that's exactly what it is. There is absolutely no evidence that you cannot get adequate amounts of protein. First of all, there's a myth that you need like tons of protein in your diet. You really only need about 10 to 15% of your calories from protein. And if you are following plant-based diet, all of the protein is in the plants. Whole grains have lots of protein. Plants do. I always use this analogy. When you are out driving around, you see a cow in a pasture and the cow's eating grass. Well, the cow is plant-based. So the cow's eating the grass. We're just cutting out the middleman.
Interesting.
And so the thing that plant-based offers you is you're still getting all the protein, but you're not getting any of the cholesterol.
Got it.
And all the, the protein, the animal protein is full of cholesterol. So if you are concerned with your heart health, you would you're better off avoiding the animal protein.
Gotcha.
So protein, that's probably one of the biggest, misconceptions. And the other is boring, that to eat plant-based is boring. And I can get really creative. I follow a lot of people on various, social media, that great recipe developers. There's one girl that I follow, and she made these lemon bars a couple weeks ago on her website, and they were made out of Japanese sweet potatoes. And I've made them 4 times already. And you're basically not, it's so low calorie because it's a sweet potato and lemon juice.
Where do you buy Japanese sweet potatoes?
Detweiler's.
Oh, okay.
Whole Foods has them also.
Okay, good to know.
And it's it's a white sweet potato. So when you cook it, it's white, and you bake it and you use you take that potato, goes in your Vitamix with all the other ingredients. And when it comes out of the Vitamix, it's like lemon curd. It would blow you away. I
think I might make those this week. I'm gonna have to go.
I'll send you the recipe. It's a lot of goofy ingredients that you may not be familiar with, but so that's, you can make really amazing food. I made macaroni and cheese this morning. I made the sauce because I had a busy day, and so I did that this morning. And it's sweet potatoes and cashews for macaroni and cheese.
And so all these recipes, are they on your website?
No, not those aren't, because I didn't develop those, but I follow Pinterest. I get a lot of ideas from Pinterest. Okay. So some of these like really imaginative ones, I usually just find them on Pinterest or on Instagram. Somebody, shows a picture that looks really good.
Yeah.
So food really can taste great. And I guess the other thing would be that, there's a lot of differentiation between vegan and plant-based. And you can be vegan and eat like Oreos and potato chips and French fries, but plant-based is like is really the healthier side of, because you're eating whole food, plant-based, like very low, minimally processed.
So could I eat French fries if I made them in my air fryer from a fresh potato? Would that still be plant-based or no?
Yeah, that would be fabulous. Yes.
The air fryer was like
the air fryer is fabulous.
Oh, I love my air fryer. It's the best thing. So we've got a few minutes left, about 4 minutes left. So what are some things, like maybe your top 2 tips you would give to people about, I know, for example, we were talking last week and you mentioned something about avocados, right? So share with me like maybe your top 2 tips of how to transition, or maybe just to start eating a little bit healthier and before you go full plant-based.
Sure. So I think the biggest thing is if you're having medical issues or you suspect that there are things like digestion or other issues, one of the things that one of the worst things is dairy. Mm-hmm. So cutting out dairy from your diet, if you can do it, if you still use milk, switch to a plant milk. If you are still eating cheese, which you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I call dairy the devil. Sorry.
Cheese is really bad for you. It just really is. And they make a lot of great plant-based cheeses now. Mm-hmm. Most grocery stores now have it's called VioLife. They make a really good like mozzarella. Tofutti makes cream cheese. Okay. I mean, I splurge. That's like the one of my kind of guilty pleasures is like a real bagel once a week with my tofutti cream cheese. But but when I do that, I pile it high with arugula and tomatoes. So I try to balance if I'm going to eat something that's not quite on my goody list. I try to balance it out with putting a lot of greens in it.
Got it. It's funny because I talked to people about dairy and I saw a huge difference in not eating dairy, a massive difference in my life. And I tell people, like, I can't do it. And there are some substitutes, but someone will say to me, oh, well, I did it for a few days and I didn't see a difference. And it's funny because whenever you're changing your diet, I learned this from, I forget who taught me this, it really takes a good 30 days for things to come out of your body. And I'm gluten-free and dairy-free. And so it takes a good 2 weeks just to get gluten out of your body. So if someone tries to change their diet and they don't see the impact, they really just need to stick with it, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the, adding whole grains to your diet, like swapping out, like if you're used to eating regular white pasta, switch to whole wheat pasta or chickpea pasta. Adding in a lot more vegetables and fresh, we're lucky we live where we are because we have such access to great fresh fruits and vegetables all year round. Mm-hmm. And you never go wrong with adding those greens into your diet. And, the more greens you add, the less room you're going to have for the bad stuff.
Yeah, it's, I'm always reading about things I can do to be healthier and what that looks like. And we talk about greens. I started celery juicing a few months back. My hairdresser actually told me about it.
Oh, wow.
And she was doing it all the time. And it's a pain. It's a big pain to cut up the celery, to go buy the celery, to do the juicer and clean it. However, the results are tremendous. I have more energy in the morning. That's why I start every morning off with 8 ounces of celery juice.
Oh, wow.
And it's incredible, but it's about those fruits and vegetables and eating them the right way, not frying it up and not eating them raw sometimes and getting the best nutrients. So you're spot on with that. And we're at time. I know, right? Time flies when you're having fun.
Fun.
So Heidi, I want to thank you so much. Again, this is a moment for people just to learn more about our members. We are When She Happens, and we are a group of women who are empowering other women to spread their message and build their business. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you work for somebody else, regardless of what you do, if you are a woman in business, we want to connect and meet with you. We do these, That's What She Said, every Monday. You can register for that by going to our website and looking there, or our Facebook page. You do have to be registered on our directory. So if you go to our website and submit your directory there, that's how you can be part of our membership. There's no fee. It's just whenever you come to an event, you come to an event. So Heidi, thank you so much for your time this morning. We truly appreciate it. If you want to connect with Heidi, on the bottom of the screen, you can see her web address, which is super cool, HeidiCooksPlants.com or HeidiCooksPlants@gmail.com. Any last bit of advice, Heidi? One word of advice before we disconnect here?
Just take it one meal at a time and add some greens and eat what you like. Find the fruits and vegetables and grains that you like, and you cannot go wrong. So, but thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate it. You can stay on. I'm going to end our live stream, but I'll stay on and talk with you for a second afterwards. So thank you everyone for tuned in. Hi, Mary. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Kara. Thank you, everyone. And everyone that's going to watch this afterwards, enjoy and wait for the next time when we talk about That's What She Said.